Students, good morning, 7th standard. Once again, welcome you all in history period. Okay. Today we are going to revise lesson number 1, and that is sources of history. And also we have to write extra question answers. Let us revise. Let us see the summary of the lesson. Lesson number 1, sources of history. Okay. The period from the 9th century CE till the end of the 18th century CE is considered to be the medieval period of Indian history. Okay. History gives us a chronological, scientific, and systematic account of past events. Individual, society, place, and time are important in the study of history. Okay, history must be based on authentic evidence, proofs, which are known as the sources of history. Before using, it is necessary to ascertain authenticity of sources by critical analysis. These sources are classified into material sources, written sources, and oral sources. Now, sources. Material sources: forts, memorials, buildings, caves, sculptures, inscriptions, coins, and copper plates are regarded as material sources. Forts, memorials, and buildings provide insight about the period, give us idea about the development of architecture, the quality of art, economic conditions, and standard of living of the people in that particular period. From the coins, we learn about the rulers, their period, governance, religious ideas, and personal details. We also learn about the financial transactions and economic conditions, progress of metallurgy, religious coordination, and language of that period. An inscription is a carving on a stone or a wall. It is a reliable source as it helps us to understand the language, script, and social life of a period. Inscriptions such as royal edicts, verdicts, and are inscribed on copper plates. Now, written sources. Documents of proceedings in the royal courts, judicial verdicts, orders, genealogies, shakavali, correspondence, dispatches, treaties, biographies, travelogues, and chronicles like Tariq and Bakr are written sources of the medieval period. These are written in Devanagari, Arabic, Persian, and Modi scripts, as well as in variety of regional languages. From these written sources, we get information about diet, attire, conventions, and rules of conduct of the people, life of people in general and festival. Al-Biruni, Ibn Battuta, and Nicola Manucci have written travelogues. Biographies and correspondence of the rulers help us to understand their policies, administrative system, and their diplomatic relations with other rulers. Tariq is a chronicle of events. Bakr is also a chronicle that originated in Maharashtra. These chronicles help us in understanding contemporary political happenings, language, cultural life, and social conditions. However, many Bakr were written many years after the events had occurred and hence were based on hearsays. The works of contemporary Western historians like Robert Arm, M.C. Sprague, and Randolph are important sources. oral sources. Folk songs, gatha, shlokas, abhanga, povada, proverbs, legend, myths, and ovids are all oral sources. We understand aspects of folk life through literature passed from generation to generation. Now, rewriting of history. Research in history is a continuous process. New source and information come to light during the course of research. History needs to be rewritten accordingly. Now, evaluating the sources of history. It is necessary to take certain precautions before using the sources of history. These includes examining the authenticity, whether the source is genuine or fake, by applying internal standards. Then integrity of the writers, their personal interests, the period in which they lived, and the political pressures on them. Whether they rely on hearsay or eyewitness account. We need to consider the exaggerations, metaphors, and other literary devices used. Verification of information with the other contemporary sources. Their information may be exaggerated, one-sided, or contradictory. Subjugating sources to a critical analysis, author's impartiality and neutrality. Okay, here our summary portion is over. Now we are going to write extra question answers. Okay, our first question is find the odd man out. Note down it in your history copy. Okay, odd man out. Question number 1, find the odd man out. Moss, Agiaris, temples, and edicts. And your answer is edicts. Okay. Number 2. Gold, cave, copper, and silver. Your answer is cave. Number 3. Shrine, tomb, Virgala, and palace. Shrine, tomb, Virgala, and palace. Palace is our amount. And 4, that is last number. Lal Mahal, Hill Fort, Fort, Lal Mahal, Gill Fort, Sea Fort, and Land Fort. Lal Mahal, Hill Fort, Sea Fort, and Land Fort. L-A-N-D. L-A-N-D, Land Fort. Okay? Odd one out with Lal Mahal. Okay? Question number 1. Find odd one out. Here our question is over. Okay? Now, next question is that what does it mean? What does it mean? Okay. Number 1. In this question, some words are given and we have to explain that term. Okay? Or that word also. History. Number 1, history. Just you are right. What down? History is a chronological systematic systematic and scientific account of the past events in the progress of human civilization. Okay. Number 2, sources of history. Number 2, sources of history. The sources of history are the authentic evidence or the authentic evidence authentic evidences or proofs that serve as the basis for writing history. Number 3. See here, sources of history. The sources of history are the authentic evidences or proofs that serve as the basis for writing history. Okay. Now next. Copper plates. A copper plate is the royal edicts judicial verdicts and other forms of writing inscribed on the strip of copper. See, copper plate. A copper plate is the royal edicts, judicial verdicts, and other forms of writing inscribed on the strip of copper. Okay, inscribed on the strip of copper. Now, next number 4. Inscriptions. Rock inscriptions. Rock inscriptions are the orders of king and other forms of writing inscribed on the strip of copper. And the last one is Bakar. Last number is Bakar. Bakar is a Marathi term. Derived from the term cover, which means news or information, which means news or information. Here, our question is over. Question answers or what does it mean? Okay, over. And now, period is also over. Okay, in the next period, we have to write extra question answers. Bye bye.